here's my question. You were one of the earliest skiers ever before chairlifts were invented, right?
Yeah, we were rope toes.
Yeah. So what year would that have been that you started skiing?
1492.
1492. But you started skiing, I think you told me maybe after the Army?
Yeah, when I got out of the Army. Sarah Lasserson, who lived on Worthington Road, had a pair of skis. But I never got on skis until after I got out of the Army.
So who was Sarah Lasserton?
She was a neighbor at Worthington Road down the hill about 500 yards.
So did you first see them like when you got a heavy snow and she was just kind of clomping around in them?
Yeah, she'd walk around in them. They had bindings on them that the heels came up.
Were those, oh, that was like cross country
Yeah,
then?
cross country type stuff.
Yeah, so that got you interested in it?
No, I don't know why I got interested in it.
So
But, when I got out of the Army, Ray Jacobs was a furrier, and he and I used to go up to northern New York State.
right, what was the whole thing with Mount Washington? Was that where you used to go?
Mount Washington was Tuckerman's Ravine.
Right, so what was that deal? You had a bunch
That
of
we had to
guys?
climb up.
Right, so tell us about that. Who used to go with you?
Archer Winston.
Who was a columnist for the New York
Archer
Herald?
Winston was the New York Post film critic.
And how'd you meet him?
I had a screening somewhere, I guess.
So
He was also the ski editor.
Okay, so you met him somehow through the film business, you think?
Mm-hmm.
And you guys started like this annual trek to Mount Washington. I remember you suiting up for it.
Yeah, it was a 3-hour walk to get to the foot of the ravine, and then it was another climb to get up to the top.
So where would you would drive and stay in a hotel overnight?
Yeah, not in a hotel. We'd stay at a boarding house, which was cheaper.
So you set out from the boarding house early in the morning?
Yeah.
And walk 3 miles, 3 hours, carrying your skis.
Yeah.
And poles.
And boots.
And oh, right, you couldn't hike in your boots.
No.
So you had to backpack all of that.
Yeah.
So was it day excursion then, or did you camp out?
No, we never stayed overnight.
So you would trek to the bottom, then trek another hour up.
It was more than an hour to get up, more like 2 hours, and then you started to climb the ravine wall.
So then, and of course the snow was not groomed. So were you like skiing down an ungroomed powder?
Well, it was so steep it didn't get formed much in the way of moguls. They fell off.
Wow. So you would start at what time in the morning and get home by what time?
We'd start about 6 in the morning.
Wow. Wow. And then you'd get there, what, 11 o'clock and have lunch?
About 10.
Yeah.
I always carried a can of sardines in my pack to eat lunch.
Yeah, I bet. No gorp? Is that before they had gorp?
No,
trail
they had gorp too, but the sardines had more protein in them.
Yeah. And so then you'd ski down and head back and stay overnight again?
Yeah.
So after you skied down, were you able to use the skis to get back to the place, or you had to take your skis off and change your boots?
No, you could. If there was enough snow at the bottom, you could ski most of the way down. It was a beginner's trail.
I see.
But usually, if the legs were so tired, you'd snowplow.
Oh my God! Well, so were there other guys doing this?
Oh
same
yeah,
thing?
lots of people.
Yeah, yeah. But it was your Archer Winston and your little outing once a year.
Yeah, more than sometimes we go twice a year.
Wow. And where is Mount Washington, New Hampshire?
New Hampshire.
That's what I thought. So that was a long drive too.
Yeah.
So would you stay over 2 nights then? And
usually 2 nights.
yeah, because you'd be exhausted. So let's see. I wanted to ask you, because you were such an avid skier, if it was against your religion to take a summer vacation.
Do what?
Against your religion to take a summer vacation.
No, I just didn't ever get to South America or New Zealand where the summer skiing was.
I see. But you didn't really like taking a regular summer vacation.
Well, I went, if Edie wanted, I'd go with her, you know.
Right.
But it wasn't my thing, really.
So tell me about your first skiing trip to Europe.
Went to Chamonix as far as I remember.
I still have a postcard that you sent me. I think I was convinced that you were never coming home.
Oh.
Because I think I was only about 7 and you were gone, I don't know, a couple weeks.
Yeah, well, once you're there, it pays to stay.
So what made you decide to ski in Europe?
Bigger mountains than we had here.
Right. More adventure?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a question. Once you became a skier, did all your girlfriends and wives have to ski?
Edie was a good skier.
And she learned because of you, though, right?
I don't know whether she learned because of me. She learned because she was good at it. Looked good.
So where did you have Edie learn to ski and subsequently Brad and I? Tell us about where we used to go.
Oh, we used to go to Canada and buy our lift tickets in Canada because they were good in Jay Peak.
Right.
Which was America.
Yeah, Jay Peak was in Vermont. Right?
Yeah, but it was close to the Canadian border. Mount Sutton, I believe, was in Canada, and the tickets were interchangeable.
Ah. But very cold, as I recall.
Well, it could be, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I remember skiing with you. You were such a diehard in those days. Freezing cold. I would fantasize on the chairlift about putting my fingers and toes in hot chocolate.
One run and warm up.
That's right, because of all the frostbite danger. So, but Jay Peak was unusual, as I recall, because of Stein Eriksen, right? Wasn't
Well,
it?
he taught the parallel method of skiing from day one.
Right, so you never learned to snowplow except to like slow yourself down in a lift line, right?
Yeah, that's about it. Of course, the skis were a lot longer. Now they're shorter and fatter, and they're easier to turn.
Right. So before there were chairlifts, just going back to the history of skiing, because I find it fascinating that you were in on it so early, there was first a rope tow, right? Well, you hiked first, then there was a rope tow, and then I remember pommel lifts, which I don't think you see
And
much anymore.
T-bars, yeah.
And T-bars. So I have a story about a T-bar, or maybe it was a J-bar.
J-bar, it hooked your rabbit coat.
That's
you were hanging
right.
up in the air.
That's right. I think I was about maybe 7 or 9, and I was pretty tiny, and I didn't have a proper ski parka. It was a Hessel fur rabbit coat. And I got up to the top. I think it was a J-bar because I was on my
No, it
own.
was at the bottom that happened.
No, it was at the top because I was about to go around the turnaround, and I didn't even say anything because I was so surprised that I was hooked there. I was too tiny. I guess it hooked on the back of my coat, and it was like I was on a clothesline. They stopped the thing, and you came over and just unhooked me.
Oh, better than letting you go back down.
Yeah, I remember that. That's for sure. Okay, well, any other insights? Oh, I was going to ask you about your accident. I remember when I was really little.
Which one? I had so many.
Well, I was noticing, well, of course you had one just a few years ago, but you don't remember it. But no, I remember when I was little, you had a scar down the front of your shin, a pretty long one. And I remember asking you about it, and I think you had stabbed yourself with your ski pole.
Yeah, I was skiing out of the limits, and I ran into the fingers of an avalanche and took a header.
Oh, wow.
And had to ski down with a gash in my leg.
And then you needed stitches, right? You needed stitches.
Needed stitches.
Yeah, so you were pretty bloody when you got to the bottom?
No, I didn't bleed that much.
So there was really an avalanche?
Fingers of an avalanche.
What does that mean?
Snow had crumbled and fallen down and gone as far as it could go.
Oh, so it got deeper suddenly and you took a header?
Yeah, well, it was like going into a 2-foot wall, a 1-foot wall.
And you were alone?
Yeah.
Wow. So you were skiing off limits?
Out of bounds, yeah.
Yeah, because you wanted to be in powder?
No, I just wanted to see what the trail, what the skiing was like.
So where were you when that happened? Do you remember what area?
I don't remember the area. I know I had to ski down with a gash in my leg. It was in Salt Lake City, I believe.
Oh, wow. So then how did you get to the hospital from there?
We got in the car and went to the hospital.
I see. So there was somebody else with you?
Yeah, I think Al was with me.
Oh, we'll have to ask him if he remembers.
He might.
Cool. All right, so I'm going to stop it. That's good. Memories of skiing.